So what did you do this weekend?
Oh, not a whole lot. You know, I sat around and ate cheese and tried to keep my sanity.
I saw Looper for like the 7th or 8th time.
Hello,
Looper?
Llamas.
Isn't this the like time travel one with
and
Jordan,
welcome.
Gordon
Jogo
Hey,
Levitt?
hey, I
You sure
said
it wasn't like the 11th time?
greetings.
What if you were
and
looping? In
Douchebags. Hey. Greetings. I want to play a game.
Game. What?
Coleman has been filled with deadly booby traps. You have 20 minutes to live.
Oh, so not like Stratego or something like that.
Oh, I thought checkers.
You graduate students, always in a rush, never appreciating life.
Well, while you go play with the puppet, I'm gonna go.
The bathroom contains the deadliest trap yet.
Wait, how'd you get booby traps in the bathroom?
Because I'm an evil mastermind, and my uncle's a janitor at Coleman.
So...
Your friend has already fallen for one. He doesn't have much time left.
Why is there a bag on his head?
Weren't you listening to anything I just said? Booby trap, man. It's a booby trap.
Like, come on, aren't you all about the blades and the needles and the saws? Bear trap, man, bear trap.
No, this is truly malicious. If you take the bag off his head, it will explode into a million... Oh, okay, we're supposed to... It exploded in all the tests with the cows.
Not exploded.
Good job.
So, what was the point of that exactly?
That was just one of the tests. The other tests are a lot nastier. Deadly.
Yeah, really. Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Drama Llamas.
10! BAM! Count them. In the frame.
I'm Doug Urbanski,
And I'm Stephen Jeffries.
and I'm looking more and more homeless as we do this.
Fact. In fact, I shaved, and then you got fuzzier. It's kind of weird. It's like this. Between the two llamas, there must always be a certain amount of beard and implied begging for scrap. in the
Beard
gutters.
equilibrium.
Beard equilibrium. We gonna go with that?
No.
No? Fine.
No.
Well, fine. How about instead we go to conflict?
Let us-
Forced transition.
Yeah, we are talking about conflict today in this book that we haven't seen in a while, The Art of Dramatic
We're
Writing.
back.
The two sections we talked about, or will be talking about, are Foreshadowing Conflict.
I always feel like there should be an opposite to that. Like backlighting. Foreshadow. Maybe like three shadow or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a pun there that needs to be exploited.
I think you exploited it.
I think
and
you need
for
to
the
be
worst
exploited.
reasons.
That's what she never said? I'm confused.
But anyway, proceeding on.
Yes.
The first section, Foreshadowing Conflict. Let's open that up to discussion. What did you think of
I think it's a short section, but it's one of those other sections that points out something that's easy to forget. It sort of seems like common sense, but when you're writing, I think, and I've been guilty of this before in my undergraduate writing classes, wanting to surprise the reader to make them sit back and go, "Oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming!" And then you end up with, stuff like narrators who turn out to be birds at the end of the story, or M. Night Shyamalan twists that we've mocked previously. So yeah, I think it was important to remember that you really need to give us a hint that there's going to be conflict. And you mentioned that with the what's-his-butt's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
No, what's-his-butt's gun.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because when I was reading this section, it reminded me a lot of what we actually had talked about, I think, in... Maybe it was my play when we workshopped it. I'm going to go with my play because I'm self-centered like that.
It's been brought up a couple times.
But the fact that, for example, in my play, there is a character who pulls up a gun and then puts it back down and is never to be seen again in the play, at least in that form of the play. Which kind of brings up that whole idea of once you introduce an element like that, you have to follow through with it. And I believe when I was talking to you about the whole idea of Chekhov's gun, you said it kind of it works in reverse too.
Yeah, there was a play in which a man, and this isn't from Egri, this is an undergraduate play that we read in a class I had years ago when the Dawn was new, where a character at the end of the play pulls a gun out of nowhere and shoots the protagonist dead. There's never any indication that there's murderous intent. There's never anything like that. It's very much just designed to be POW! Surprise! Look at the twist ending. And Dr. Radovich pointed out the Chekhov's gun thing. I'm sorry, what's his butt's gun? I'm going to get it right. In reverse, he said just as if you show a gun, you need to fire it. If you fire a gun, you have to show it. It needs to be foreshadowed. So, yeah, I do think it goes both ways, absolutely.
I mean, that's exactly what we've got here, this whole idea that we have to, I think, have some semblance of, what's coming up. Things can't just be thrown at us out of nowhere.
Point of attack, attacked with a
attack.
pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
But I thought the point of attack was also interesting. What did you think about that, Doug? I was reminded of many creative writing advice snippets.
I guess the first thing that popped up is just when we're reading about all these points, it's like I think it's the point he makes earlier on.
While you're looking, I have points.
Yes, make points.
Like 3 points.
Make points.
I was talking about my shirt. Arrows, points, trace points.
Oh, you don't actually have points.
Oh, I have points, but it's more fun to let you simmer in your own awkward silence and reflect upon your own insecurities and inability to establish any kind of sensible string of logic. Because nobody loves you, Doug. The point that I really wanted to get to was that it's too easy.
I found it! Page 193.
Of course you find it.
In each of these plays and every work, which one can unblushingly call a play, the curtain rises when at least one character has reached a turning point in his life. That struck a chord with me. I immediately started to think back to my intro to background literature, intro to backgrounds, backgrounds of Western literature. That's
there you go.
And it was all about those classic Greek texts. And one of the texts we read was the Iliad, which the Iliad begins in what is called in medias res. I'm going to butcher that Latin.
Right in the middle.
Bingo. Like right in the middle of the action. And there's a lot of points that we see that in here. And it's kind of similar. It's like in a play, we're not starting with the beginning of this person's life. We're starting at a specific moment. I think there's a point
where conflict, where action is happening.
Exactly.
And now it's my turn to be self-centered.
Do it.
In Thicker Than Water, the play that I worked on for our thing that we did in class, workshop, that's what those are called. There's one of the challenges was to establish the fact that the two characters, the one that was being targeted and the person doing the targeting, had a relationship, that there was conflict that happened before, that she hit him in the head with something, it broke, she dragged him into this garage and tied him up, and the curtain opens when she walks in, and that was insanely hard, and I still don't think I did a wonderful job of conveying that, because there was a lot of information crammed in, but this was the point I was trying to get at. Like you said, it has to start when the action begins. And I know Dr. Moffat, Dr. Gay, and pretty much every creative writing instructor I've ever had has said most stories begin on the third paragraph. Most books begin on the third chapter. Because I know as a writer, I like to preface too much.
When 197, Egri tells us, a play should start with the first line uttered. And I thought that was just
beautiful
to illustrate that.
Spot on.
That doesn't necessarily mean that if you are to apply this to literature, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start with a line of dialogue. But It probably makes a bit more sense in terms of a play. But
Well, yeah, there's no need to warm up. There's no need to establish the beautiful sunset. There's no need to, turn it into an anime and do the whole like, you're Akira Miyamoto, and I won't expand that too more because I used that gag in a previous episode.
Yeah.
But, you don't need to do that. I think one of my instructors called it textual foreplay, when you just sit there and titillate the reader and you don't give them any information. All you do is sort of set them up and tell them something's going to be happening soon because I have these awesome characters and here's their life stories. But wait, something's going to happen eventually. But you don't see it forever. Like the example play, I would not want to read it. What do they talk about? The play they talked about in here, and now I'm...
Are you talking about the one that starts with like 40 pages introducing?
Yeah!
It's at the beginning, George and Margaret.
Oh, that's the beginning. Okay, I was looking at the end. George and Margaret, 46 pages in. Then you get a little snippet of conflict that they drop that is brought up once on page 80, and then again, like nothing's done with it. That would be so boring.
It almost sounds like the famously terrible movie, The Room, in which one character informs the audience that she just got the test results back about having cancer, and there's all sorts of issues with the movie, but she tells her daughter, "I definitely have cancer." This is about 30 minutes into the movie. The movie is roughly between an hour and a half and 2 hours. Not once do we ever hear of this woman having cancer. We see her plenty of more times in the movie. Does not seem enfeebled by her ill state. But she has cancer. We know this. And that's all.
But Doug, more importantly...
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
I think we attacked those points.
I think we did attack those points. It's really nice to get advice that is grounded, that is practical, and that, frankly, is going to prevent your audience's horse sense from tingling. I love that they called it that. Horse sense.
I would have preferred Spidey sense.
Yeah, but for Spidey sense to work, you have to be, like, viciously attacked. And we've seen how that turns out. I think that we're done.